Hello guys, welcome back. Since the video got paused, I just quickly uploaded what he was saying so we don't lose, we just don't lose all the data that he's telling us, because he's giving us a lot of information and we're going over a script with him. So I just, when it paused, I just cut it myself so I could save this time the video for the viewers to have a look at it. So he's back. I'll take him in and again. We're just connecting. Yes, we are back.
Thank you very much. So when it comes to a prescription on how to deal with someone who's trying to get us to react, we can, one, do nothing. Two, remain quiet. Once they go silent treatment, what should we do? The child has put themselves in a room, thrown themselves on the floor inside a Walmart. A tantrum is waiting to happen, in other words. If you go engage, once they get into the silent treatment, that means a tantrum is about to happen. The silent treatment is a signal that rage is about to be unleashed. That's what the silent treatment means. If you keep poking at the bear, you're going to get the rage. So the person is waiting for.
Oh, got disconnected.
Okay,
Yes.
so what that means, when that person goes to silent treatment to demean you, when they get to that point, is everybody there? I see some people. If you type it out, if you. Okay, so we're there.
No, yes, I'm here.
Okay, so what happens is people find themselves in a situation in which they're constantly focusing their energy on the person who's narcissistic. They're focusing their energy on a person who is emotionally unavailable. They're focusing their attention on someone who's emotionally immature. They're focusing their attention on someone who doesn't care for them the way they need to be cared for. They're focusing their attention on someone who doesn't want to resolve problems. So they're banking that you want to resolve this, so you will come chasing after them. But the way you resolve it is what you said at the very beginning. We hold on to our self-esteem by being self-aware of the situation we're in at the moment. Because if we just write it out for 20 minutes, we don't worry about if it hits 30. We don't worry about it if it hits an hour. We don't worry about if it's been 3 or 4 days they haven't talked to us. We need to successfully do things for 20 minutes, whether it's riding a bike, push-ups, jumping jacks, jump rope. You can pick whatever you want. If you do it for 20 minutes, you're going to feel pretty good.
Right.
If you don't go and eat the whole thing of ice cream that we could eat in less than 20 minutes, we're happy we had self-esteem and self-control. So once we have self-esteem and self-control to eat the vegetables first, but sometimes it's okay to have an ice cream day though. Let's get that straightened out. Sometimes we gotta let it go. But what I was gonna say, but the person wants you to do something in 20 minutes so they cannot have to deal with what's happening inside of them. Which is a whole nother thing. We could go a whole nother show about talking. If we want to talk about the person, we can do that another time. Right now, we're only talking about what red flag coaching is all about. What do you need to do once the red flag has been waved? Write it out for 20 minutes is the quickest answer. Now, we'll dissect. What happens in that 20 minutes when you're dealing with your mom? Well, I'm going to do nothing. As if I'm at the zoo, just looking at all the animals behind the cage. I'm going to remain quiet when they start to get crazy. I'm not going to egg them on. Okay, now you do nothing and you get quiet. What do you think the outcome's going to be? Well, they're going to silent treat me. Silent treatment me. Well, that's what we just came up with. Okay, once they silent treatment with you, what do you need to do? This answer that comes. Okay, we got to write that down. Stay calm.
Okay.
So you got just everybody go with us on this. You can throw it away later if you think you need to, but if you have a friend that may need it, give it to them. They have
Yeah.
stay calm is what you said. That is the correct response. How do we know that's the correct response? We're all different. Well, what do policemen do when they show up at a situation? Uh, let's not get into the politics of it all in today's format. But what would a therapist do? What would a doctor do when he walks into the room? Does he immediately start taking needles out to stick you in the arm? He just sits and
Yeah.
does nothing and listens. Correct?
Right.
So we need to be coached through situations to know that we actually have the power. The person in front of us, even if it was a mob, they don't have the power. We have their power. Our response says a lot about the way we view ourselves. If we start to react, that means we have very little regard or respect for ourselves. If we do nothing and we stay in a calm state, as you mentioned, what does that tell the other person? If you're yelling at me and I'm sitting here and I'm just looking at you and you're yelling at me and telling me how much I've been so mean to you and I haven't been there for you, and now I know it's a lie, but if I don't do anything, what does that say about you?
I don't give a shit about you.
Girl, watch your language, girl. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just joking. So, no, you understand. You believe that, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what happens in real life. And that's very hurtful to somebody that's listening to it. They're looking at it and feeling what you just said. Wait a minute, right? They start making the face. Wait a minute. What do you? And start crying. And go, but I've done this, and we can think of a long list of all the things we've done for our parent, or we start thinking. We get caught up, and now we lost the 20 minutes becomes 2 hours of fighting. 20 minutes. All we got to do is be cool for how long? 20 minutes. And I've had people that I've coached, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'm talking to this person the other day, and he's telling me about it, and I said, just 20 minutes. We've already been over this. Okay? I don't care if you get a bag of Cheetos, and for 20 minutes you eating a bag of Cheetos while they talking. I don't care if you drink a bunch of. I had this to a lady that got a hold of me the other day, and she's telling me. I said, well, what is it that you like to eat or drink? And she says beer, and I said, well, okay, then you can't do wine. I said, no, you can't be doing that when you're a narcissist. You be having wine, you get out of control. She said, well, I like coffee. I said, you like coffee? Do you like it black or do you like it with something? They like with something. I said, okay. So, and she's talking about dealing with her brother. I said, okay, so you need to go, whatever creamer that you like, go buy the creamer that you like, take it over to your brother's house. Don't open it. Leave it, don't open it and then leave it at his house. I said, go take it and go put it in his refrigerator. Go over one day, buy him some candy or whatever, something he liked, and then say, oh, by the way, I bought some creamer so when I come over and see you. She says, I hate going over to my brother's house. No. We don't want to get into all of that. Take the creamer over because every time he sees that creamer, he's going to think he needs to be nice to you to come over. Take the creamer, go put it in his refrigerator so that every time you do go over there and he starts to beat you up verbally and emotionally, you go make some coffee. You keep talking, this guy. You go make some coffee. He says, you listen to me. No, I need to hear more from you. You tell him. Because see, what they're expecting is for you to say, stop doing this to me. No, you keep going. Now remember, if they get violent, anybody out there, if it's a domestic abuse thing, get out. Take your leave.
Exactly.
We all understand that in the community. But what I'm saying is, coaching-wise, you have an emotional protection plan. You put that creamer in there. I don't care if you have to go buy your favorite coffee and leave it at his house and a mug. And every time he sees the coffee, the creamer, and the mug, he'll go like, oh, wait a minute. I want my sister to come over. Let me be nice. You get there, he's out of control. He's talking to you like he's crazy. But he's not violent. He's just having an emotional tantrum. So you don't feel like engaging in all of that because you're not feeling too well. So you get the coffee out. You start making coffee. No, tell me some more. Go ahead, tell me some more. And you get the creamer. You open the creamer. You're doing this whole thing while he's talking. Depending on how long it makes the coffee, how long it takes to make the coffee, it may go 20 minutes. And now you're sitting down and you're listening and you're drinking the coffee. You're in your little quiet place with your own coffee or tea or whatever it is. It's a smoothie, whatever you think it is. Maybe it'd be pie. Maybe he's talking and you go, It's pie. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He's going, why are you eating? No. When you talk, I like to eat this pie. So you go right ahead. You keep talking. Go ahead. You cut the pie up. You sit. You go, oh, well, you're not going to offer me any pie? You can't talk while you got pie in your mouth. You just keep talking. And you put something in your mouth so you keep your mouth shutty. Let them have their tantrum. Just don't absorb it. If 20 minutes goes by and he's still going, you go like, come on now, I can't have 2 pieces of pie while you keep talking. We're going to have this session next time. I'm going to come back next time for a session. But if I got to keep listening to you do this, you're going to have to pay me. And you come up with whatever you think it is that you want him to pay you with. Cut your grass, go buy you a new pair of shoes. Now, you had these tantrums and telling me how bad I am. I have no problem, but you're going to have to go buy me. We're going to have to go down to Ross. We go down to Ross, or we're going to go down to the thrift store. We got to do something. You got to buy me something for me to sit here and listen to you. Because obviously nobody else wants to listen to you act like this. And that is how you start to build boundaries. Every situation and family is different. So we're not talking about a normal, let's dissect narcissist and narcissistic situations or a person the same way you would if you had somebody else on here. What I'm talking about is day-to-day living and how to step-by-step deal with a 20-minute situation. Don't look at it that they're going to be this way for an hour. They're going to be mad at me for 3 days. For 20 minutes, I'm going to hold on to my self-esteem. 20 minutes today becomes 40 minutes tomorrow. 40 minutes tomorrow becomes 2 hours next week. 2 hours, and believe me, the person, the narcissist, is figuring it out. They're going like, wait a minute. No matter how I act. Well, there are other things that they will do, but that's a whole nother show we could do. But for that 20 minutes, you have gained your self-respect. They have left the room, walked away, now giving you the silent treatment. So now what do you do? What do you do? That's what you've been waiting for them to be quiet and not bother you.
Yes.
So why would you? No, yeah. So why would you go get the little kid out of the room? Why would you go knocking on the door? But now most people go and knock on the door and try to go talk to them, as you said earlier, because now we get back to square one. The question you had at the beginning. The question you had at the beginning was the key. Self-aware, self-esteem. If our self-esteem is low and we have abandonment issues or attachment issues, now we go back and go get the abuse. We go looking for it. They're over there minding their own business, soaking in their emotions. We should be, you know what? I'll be back. I'm going to go shopping. What? Anything in particular from the store you want? They don't say anything. They're being quiet. They're not going to say nothing to you. You don't go reward bad behavior by bringing them a gift. You may tell them something that they may need. You may not want to wash their clothes, but you may wash their clothes because they're there. That's up to the person. Everybody tackles this differently. The key in red flag coaching is 20 minutes. If you're my client, can you and I discuss what you can do for 20 minutes of peace? And now I'm going to ask you, when we're about done, what can you do to make that 20 minutes now 40 minutes? Now go and find another Yeah.
First 20 minutes, I would eat chocolate.
Okay, that's it. That's yours, but that's yours. Now somebody else that's listening may not do that. They may go for a run. They may go lift weights.
Right.
They may go do an aerobics class. They may get a jumping rope. But the key is the more that we are in a situation that we put ourselves in because we're controlling it and not feel like we're being put in a situation, we actually have the power. We have it. It's how we respond to the situations outside of us that have no control or power. The situations outside of us have no control and no power. But it's how we respond to the situation, because we actually have the power and we actually have the control. But when we hand it over because we have abandonment issues, we have attachment issues, and we have association issues. In other words, the people we associate with have trained us to act a certain way. so that they feel good about themselves. Again, that's a whole nother
Mm.
show. All of those.
Mm.
So right now, how do you respond when a person demeans you and puts you down? You can dissect who they are, narcissist, covert, grandiose. We start breaking it. We start, okay, let's try this. We could keep pointing at everybody's house that's on fire, or we could get the water hose out and keep ours wet so that it doesn't catch fire.
Mm.
There has to be a balance. You can't keep the water hose on all the time. At some point, you got to go inside. Some point, you got to eat. Some point, you got to go to the bathroom. So there's going to be moments that we have to do certain things. This, as one person told me when they were presenting the problem to me, and I'm talking to them about it. This is about a week ago, and we're talking about it. And they said, you know what? All you're doing is giving me basic common sense. This is like street psychology. I said, because I'm not a psychologist, a therapist, or all the above. I'm just a guy that is looking at the situation, has gone through things, and what I've gone through is private. I don't need to get on here and discuss it. But you and I can do a bunch of hypotheticals. Whether they're true or not, they're going to help somebody that's listening. Because somebody has wasted 20 minutes of their life that has turned into 2 hours to weeks of arguing and fighting, when all they needed to do was for 20 minutes, do nothing, remain quiet, and if need be, take their leave. Those are your only 3 options in many scenarios. People will lose sleep. People will YouTube video themselves to death on narcissism, only to find out that all they need is the proper support and some coaching to walk through a situation. The people that find themselves in that situation are people who their father was not around. Their mother was not around. Their father was a narcissist or abusive. Their mother was a narcissist or abusive. Their brother was a predator in one shape, form, or another. Their sister was a predator, financially or whatever, in one shape or another. Or a number of other scenarios. Their boss. The only way he feels good about it himself, him or herself, is that they got to go to work and beat up on somebody. So people find scenarios that they're presented with, but we all have to remember, we have the ability to control the situation. It's not fair for me to do all the talking unless you let me, because I will.
I'm enjoying listening.
Is there anything that the listeners want to ask? They can ask me
Yes.
before we end up having to go. Actually, or I'm going to have to go. Is
Yes,
there
guys,
anything?
yeah, please ask if there's anything, because we're wrapping up now. And yes, definitely I will have him again come in and do another stream with us. But for now, if you have any questions, throw them at us.
One of the things to keep in mind for most people is if they can visualize the 20 minutes of what's going to happen, like we just slow walked it through. And actually, when people come to coaching, we go even slower because we become emotional detectives. We need to figure out how we got ourselves in this situation. Why am I in this situation today where yesterday they were nice to me? Don't get caught up in the they were nice to you now, mean to you now. You know what? Some people are not narcissists. They're just mean. They're mean one
Mm,
day, nice another. But
mm,
either way it goes, 20 minutes does a lot. But once it hits a half hour and they're still being mean to you and you're going to sit there and take it, a lot of TV programs are a half hour. It's one
mm.
thing to sit and watch a program for a half hour, but even the program is not a full 30 minutes. There's commercials in
Mm.
between. When you
Yeah.
deal with people, sometimes you need a commercial while you're talking to them. So go make a cup of coffee. Go get that creamer out. Go do, like I told you, the lady was telling me about her brother. Give yourself a commercial break. They don't want you to have one. They want you to break down. Go get yourself a commercial break.
Mm.
And when you take that commercial break, regather yourself while you're making that coffee. Regather yourself while you're making dinner. Don't let them see you sweat. Remain, as you said, stay calm. Remain calm. Because that means you have the power. They need you to hand it over to them. Let them be whatever they are. Let them be whatever somebody diagnosed them to be. You just have to not add to the problem in the household. Don't try to be the person who toots the horn and says, look how great I am and look how crazy they are. That's a waste of time, because in a moment, you could be the crazy person. Let them smear you. Let them say whatever they want, because only your true friends will stick with you. Any questions by any chance? I didn't look to
Yeah,
see.
somebody
I don't have my
says,
glasses on.
it's okay. What to do about your narcissist when by the time you realize you are way too deeply involved with them?
Okay, so that's an excellent question.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to say that, but I'm assuming that's gold something. Great question. So let's do this. Every time you approach a situation, that is to the young lady that asked the question. I'm just saying because I'm looking at the picture. Uh, Remember, we're emotional detectives. So whether it's Columbo, Monk, Psych, whatever show you want to pick, Sherlock Holmes, we're gonna go back to the scene of the crime. When did this crime start? So I have to ask you this question. If we're coaching, I'm going to ask you this question. So, oh, Gladys, did I get that right? Am I saying that right, Gladys?
Gladdy. Gladdy.
Oh, Gladys. Okay. So
Yeah.
Gladys, is this a marriage, or is this someone who hasn't committed? Have you both not committed to each other and you're just courting or dating each other? Which one is it?
I think she's married.
So I'll do both. I got a yes, she's married. Okay, so you're
Yes.
married and you're saying you're too deep.
Yes.
Are you drowning? Are you drowning yet? Do you feel like you're drowning? Now we can only do so much here because I do everything in private, because there's things that I need to say and ask that I can't right now.
Yes.
And she can always contact me and I can help her
Yes.
in private. So
Yes.
if you're in a marriage and it feels like you're drowning and this person is being cruel to you emotionally, hopefully, now remember, if it's a physical situation and it's abusive, get help, get out immediately. But if you haven't got to that point, what you have to look at is you need to prepare yourself to set up boundaries 20 minutes at a time. So everybody that's listening, remember, 20 minutes at a time, you need to look at setting up boundaries to let them know this is the way things are going to go from here on out. You don't need to lose your cool. You don't need to scream. You don't need to be out of control. You don't need to yell. You don't need to do anything that shows that you're not ready to live a happy life. See, when people start yelling and screaming and stumping their feet, now you become the 2-year-old child in the marriage, in the relationship. But if you're able to set up a situation that says, you know what, I believe you and I need to talk, because there are some things I think we both can do better to move us forward to be closer as we grow old together. Now, what that is, that's called a white flag of peace. Now, remember, most people who are in a narcissistic way, they want to wave a red flag. So if you say, I really would like it if you and I were able to sit down together, because
Yes.
I
She will
think
connect with you.
does that make sense? Somebody there? Are you talking to me or?
I'm telling she would definitely connect with you after the
Yes.
session. She's a friend,
Yeah.
so I know.
Oh, okay, got it. So what I'm saying to
Yes.
you is that there are things that can be said that are white flags, but we can't be thinking, oh, it's not going to work. If I say that, no. We have to go in knowing that if we are married, we're going to do what we can to make it work. Some people don't want to work. That's not the issue. There are certain principles that can be applied, and I do that in the private coaching. We don't talk about it here in an open forum like this because that's disrespectful, in my opinion, to the marriage.
Yes.
But
Right.
there are things that can be said and done to let that person know we need to go in a certain direction, and I've got a few ideas. Hey, by the way, I want to lay out some ideas. Matter of fact, I wrote them out. I wrote some of the ideas out, and here it is. I got mine, and here's yours. Maybe next week on a such and such a time frame, we can sit down and talk about it. Do you see? There are things that can be said. That's the first shot. If that doesn't work and you still feel, now remember, she's your friend. You know the situation quite well. So
Yes.
you,
Yes.
that doesn't work, and you pass that. Now I'm talking about other people that may be in that situation. If it's getting as what's called too deep, well, what do you mean by too deep?
Yeah.
See,
Maybe she's.
if if we're looking to get out of something, and again, that's why, see, we're talking about stuff that needs to be talked in private. If a person is looking to get out, they're going to damage it and sabotage it no matter what someone tells them.
Mm.
So let's say that a person is in a situation and it feels like they can't cope, and they're in a marriage and it's difficult and they don't know what to do. The coaching that's provided dealing with narcissism that I provide, it helps an individual find the tools to work through situations.
Mm.
And sometimes those tools may seem odd to hear or they may not work, but we have to go in looking to see, do we want to work through situations 20 minutes at a time? 20 minutes, not the whole day. Because people get on Instagram and they say, well, the whole day was going good. And then all of a sudden they did this right before we went to bed. No. The 20 minutes. The 20 minutes. They were waiting to jam you up for 20 minutes. Right before you went to your in-laws, right before you went to that party, right before you went to go catch a movie, right before you went to go do something, they jammed you up in a situation emotionally. All you needed to remember is you're going 20 minutes at a time. When you're dealing with somebody who's emotionally not available, emotionally volatile, emotionally unstable, you got to go 20 minutes at a time. And you could last a lifetime because that person is not looking to change. They want to change you. They don't want to change. And if you understand that your mom, your boss, what would you do if it was your boss? How would you approach it? Well, it's different with my boss. I'm not married to my boss. That's not what we're talking about. If it was your boss, what would you do so you could keep that job? No, I quit my job. Okay, well then, if you quit your job, what are you going to do? You're going to quit the marriage too. That's on you. That's a decision that person has to make. But what if you wanted to work things through? What would you do? Not everybody's like somebody else. They may want to work it through. And the creator who made marriage may be there wanting them to work it through. And that's wrong what I just said. Not that he may be there. The creator, he hates a divorcee. But everybody's different about that. That's just my personal preference. So what I'm saying is a person has to look at it and say, okay, what can I do to try to wave a white flag to say, hey, let's work this through? The coaching can help, but it may not help you. It can help someone else, but it may not help you. You could try it, and you may go to someone else, and they may tell you something that works for you. But if you come to red flag counseling and coaching, there's only one thing in mind. What can you do for 20 minutes to make it better? And the person's going to look at it and go, no, you don't understand. My whole life I've had people tell me this. My whole life, and I'm sitting up talking to them, and I'm telling them, okay, all right, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go ahead and see what you need to do and try for a day, whatever you think you need to try to do, and then come back and talk to me after 24 hours. And then they DM me or they kind of, okay, well, that didn't go too well. Why didn't it go well? Not because I'm telling you, because it's just an urge you have right now. We don't like pain. We don't like discomfort. So we want a quick fix. But if we work things out and we go through a little recipe of knowing the first thing I'm going to do is what? Nothing. The second thing I'm going to do is be quiet and watch. The third thing is whatever
Stay
I
calm.
think I need to. There you go. That's it. So now narcissism and everything else and relationship problems take on a whole different meaning because now we understand I have the power. I can go have a meeting with this person and talk with this person because I'm going to do the same thing. Inside of me is calm and quiet. I don't need a resolution. I already have a resolve already. I know exactly what's going to happen. But I love him. One guy, he knows who he is. But I love her, and she's my world. I said, come on now. When you go buy underwear, do you take her with you? You know, no, I'm just saying, there's certain things. When you got to go to work, and she's sitting right there next to you at your desk, but I have her picture at the desk. Okay, well then take the picture and put it in the drawer. I bet you'll still go to work, and you'll still make money. You're giving somebody something they don't deserve. You're putting them in a position as if they're the God of the universe, and they're not. So put that person in their place, because something has happened in the relationship, Gladys, in which you've let that person get in a position that they shouldn't be in, that they're the end of everything. I hope that kind of gives an idea of how a person can put themselves in a position where they allow that person to have the power, and they see that they can abuse you now. They cannot abuse you if they recognize that if I'm yelling at you and you are looking at me straight in my eye and letting me know for 20 minutes that whatever I'm saying is not going to affect you in a bad way, I have no power.
True. That is so true. And I think what you're saying basically is just like a general thing for people who have self-integrity should do these things, even if they're not in a narcissist relationship. These are basic boundaries and basic things we need to know if we have self-integrity.
That's correct. And again, I can only do that because we're in this format. It gets way deeper and much more personal when a person DMs me and they want to set up an appointment to start to work through situations. So we can only speak in general, a general format here, and I can do a lot of analogies. And we can talk about some things that maybe others have never talked about. But there are people talking about this right now on Instagram and throughout YouTube. This has been going on for a long time. It's like an undercurrent to the other layer, which is life coaching here and other things that people are talking about. And then the other layer of a therapist and a psychologist. There are layers depending on a person's financial situation and how much they need a quick answer. So if they DM me, you're going to get a quick answer. We're going to work. What? You're going through this today? That's why for a whole month, when people hear what they can get for a whole month when they contact me, they start to recognize, oh, okay, then you're not, no, I'm not like everybody else you talk to. I'm a support system that's going to work with you and available for you more than anybody else is going to be. And so therefore you can come to me, and when you come to me, we're going to talk about stuff nobody else is going to find out except the one who made the air and the sun and the moon and the stars. So once we start talking and you really start telling me what you're trying to navigate to, I'll let you know whether I can help you with that or not. If you're trying to find a way one guy was telling me, he says, I'm going to have to move to another state. She just won't leave me alone. She keeps hoovering me, and she just keeps and she just won't leave me, and she's fearing me, and she's talking bad about me. She's telling that I awful things, just awful things. And I said to him, I said, okay, what do you want to do then? And he says, well, I just need it to stop. Okay. So now we have to ask, do you love your job? Because if you can leave your job, how much do you love your house? Well, I built this house. Okay, so we got to really look at what you're talking about doing. Is it realistic? I want to go to the store, not him, but let's use an analogy. That's like a person saying, you know what? I want to go to the store and go get some dessert, but I don't want to wear a mask. But the sign on the store says you can't come in unless you wear a mask. So it's the same thing in our relationship. That person is letting you know to deal with me, you got to protect yourself because I'm contaminated. Well, maybe you didn't see these red flags that person was emotionally contaminated. That person was emotionally contaminated when you met them. So now you're in too deep. I hope that makes some sense to who we were talking to earlier.
Yes.
So now in too deep, and they were emotionally contaminated from the beginning. Now, what do you do? What you're going to have to do is talk to someone to figure out a coaching plan. Just like if you played basketball, if you played sports, if you were a gymnast, everybody needs a coach. Not everybody needs a therapist or a psychologist. But some people don't know that they need a therapist or a psychologist. Like one lady told me, and I said, you know what? I have a few therapists that I know and I've talked to and worked with, and here are their numbers. You need to talk to them. Or here's a psychiatrist that I could recommend to you that I've already talked to and told him I'd send people his way. You need to talk with him if you'd like to. But you need to talk to somebody that could clinically and with medical supervision walk you through your scenario. But if you have a scenario where you're not in that and you talk with a person, a coach, a life coach, a personal coach, a narcissistic abuse coach, there's tons of us online. And they start to see that you're able to walk through situations, you have just got on a journey that will free you from feeling like someone else has the power. And getting out of bed becomes a lot easier. Going to sleep at night and not having insomnia becomes a thing of beauty. Because now you begun to recognize, I'm not dumping my problems on someone else. I'm not going out with the girls and just complaining about him. I'm not going out to go stay in the garage because I don't want to go be in the house with my wife or go be with my siblings, and I just avoid them. But you're finding ways to walk through the scenarios that bring you stress because you need to be coached through those. Why? Because there was no father around. There was no mother that really was supportive for you emotionally when it came to this kind of stuff. There was maybe no narcissism talk at the time that people were growing up or going to school. And now it's like everywhere. People are self-absorbed. People are self-absorbed. They're haughty. They only think of themselves and what they want. So how do you navigate through that on the workplace? How do you navigate through that when you're dealing with situations that you find yourself in that you have to be there? There's no way around it. You have to deal with it. The other day I had somebody ask me, their mother and father, the grandparents, her parents, watch their kids. She has to go to work. She has to go pick up the kids. She loves her children, but she hates that she's got to go there because she's going to get it every time. She drops them off, she gets it. She goes, every time she gets put down. So I told her, I said, well, consider this. Let's try something. This is all about you keeping your self-esteem, and your mother and father, your parents, siblings put you down every time you got to get them to babysit. There's always something you don't do right that you need to do better. Every time they do that to you, starting next month, give yourself 30 days. Set aside $100, $30, whatever you want to do. I usually tell people $100. Set it aside. Now, what do you like to do? Do you like buying shoes? Then every time they do that, go buy yourself a new pair of shoes. And then when you go take the kids and go like this, and you say, oh, by the way, how do you like my shoes? You like my shoes? Where'd you get those shoes from? No, every time I come here, you make me feel bad, so I'll go buy myself a new pair of shoes. I said, watch how quick they'll stop trying to put you down. Because they don't want to see you do well. She doesn't want to see you go buy shoes. And then the lady said, but then she's just going to tell me I'm spending money that I should spend on the kids. I said, that's good. Then what you do is you take that same $100. You don't go buy any shoes. You go down to a store, go buy yourself some $6, $7 flowers, and you go spend another $25, $30 on the kids. And she goes like, oh, so you did get the kids something. Oh, yeah, but did you see my flowers? I got the kids something, and I got me something. Because every time I come here, you put me down for being nice to me, and now I'll be nice to the kids, and now you're going to put them down. So you understand, every time they put you down, reward yourself for being a good person. Do some push-ups for you guys out there. The woman makes you feel bad, go do some push-ups and get your body in line. She puts you down and tell you you're not as good as the last guy. That's okay. It's all right. Trim your beard. Clean up yourself. Go get your teeth whitened. Go get a manicure. Get a pedicure. I'm talking to the guys. I'm not talking to just you ladies out there. Go take care of yourself. You haven't bought cologne in a long time? She telling you no good. She gets in front of the friends and calls you this or that and tells people things that are not true. It's okay. She tells you you're doing something and you're innocent and you're not doing anything. It's okay. Go to the barber. Go. One guy told me the other day. He said, I've been practicing what you've been telling me. He said, so I went and got my hair faded. Now fade don't work for me, but he went and got his. He said, I haven't done that in years. He said, but it made me feel so good. Another guy said that he likes wearing certain types of clothes. So he went to the store and he bought 2 or 3 outfits like that. He brought them home and she looked at him and said, what are you doing? You got a date or something? He says, no. He said, I just think you deserve to have a man that looks good all the time. She didn't know what to say. So what she did she did what we talked about earlier. She gave him what? An STD. She said, well, I'm going to give you the silent treatment. It's okay. He knew better. He went to work the next day wearing one of the outfits and went normal day, just went on about it. He came back home and he had a meal with dessert prepared for him.
Oh.
She told him, he's telling me, he said, I was laughing. It was so funny. He says, I couldn't believe it. He says, it was dinner and, he said, and a dessert and all that like that. He said, and I didn't know what to do. He said, I had no idea. I said, well, what did you do? Because she did it so you can give a response or a reaction. What did you do? He says, I remember. He said, I did nothing and I remained quiet. I said, no, that's not when you do the nothing. No. That's when you say something. That's when you do the opposite of that. Remember, do nothing, be quiet, remain calm when they're agitated. So now, which is a whole nother show, what do you do if they are doing the proper thing? You do just the opposite. So instead of doing nothing, you do something. Instead of remaining quiet, you say something respectful and that shows honor to that person and commend them. The third thing, instead of remaining calm, you show a little excitement. And now they understand the borders. They understand the boundaries that they have to work within. When they step outside of those, then it becomes different. Are we pushing into that moment in which we're going to need to go? I threw a lot out to you, and that happens in this format, in which there's a lot that can come out because there's so many different people listening. But what I need to do is anybody that needs to reach me can do so. And I can be of some help to them, either redirecting them or refocusing. I do one or the other. I either redirect you to somebody that can help you at your level of narcissistic abuse, or it may be something that I can refocus you on, which means what you said originally, self-esteem. Maybe we need to look at a person's self-esteem, which is usually what's at issue. It's not really the narcissist, it's really them. To stop the abuse, a person has to refocus who self-esteem that they're looking at. If they keep trying to make the other person feel better, you're going to run into a problem. But if you are looking at, wait, let me hold on to my self-control and my self-esteem, it could be different. Your turn.
Gotcha. Okay. My last question, and then we'll wrap it up. What I'm understanding is that you are not only giving people the exit plan, you're telling them if you want to stay in the relationship, this is what you're going to do, right?
Absolutely.
And it will work. Okay.
Bingo.
Gotcha.
So it's a different format to work in. But because everybody is not the same, where so many people are going like, well, you know what? I'm out of here. And another person is going like, I'm trapped in here. And another person is going, you know what? I'm going to burn the whole thing down. All of those, you need to go to somebody else. But if you're looking at it and you're just trying to get some coaching for 30 days, for 30 days, I just want to work this. I want to have somebody I can talk to and say, look, these are the scenarios that I'm anticipating or that I'm presented with. This is a text message that I just got. What direction do you recommend I kind of go in? And that's where I can be of help and have been of help to people, because they're able to look at a situation and go, okay, I don't need to apply what I'm hearing over here. I can apply this to myself And if the gorilla starts acting crazy and wants to climb the fence, okay, now we need to go in a different direction.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. I literally made so many notes that I can't even tell you. It was so amazing.
Oh,
I learned
you're,
so
I'm
much.
sorry.
No, it's
I'm sorry.
amazing because you.
I torture a lot of people like that. When people DM me and we talk, they go like, "You made me write it down, and I'm not used to that." And then they go like, "I'm running out of paper." I said, "I don't." That's why the free consultation, when they get a hold of me, is a big help to a lot of people. They find out they don't need coaching, or they don't need certain things longer than sometimes the 7 days. So from now until June, excuse me, December 31st of this year, to the end of the year, from now to the end of the year, anyone that DMs me and wants an appointment can have one, and they can get, only until the end of the year, they can get coaching up to 7 days for free.
Wow. There we go,
We can
guys.
work,
7 days free coaching.
but I'm going to really open you up now. It's gonna be like Shrek and all the onion layers. We're gonna peel it back real quick. And if I feel that it's nothing that I can help you with, I'm gonna redirect you. If it's something I can help you with, I'm gonna let you know that I'll refocus it. But I have to tell you before we go, I need everyone to understand. I am really trying my best to help as many men that are going through it in a very silent way to get a hold of me. If you have a brother, a father, an uncle, if you have a workmate and you hear he's going through stuff with some woman he's dating or situations, they need to get a hold of me ASAP and talk with me, because once December 31st comes, I'm not doing this again. So between now and then, I'm willing to take on clients and help them. If I feel they need more, and I'm going to tell you now before you even DM me, I'm going to tell you need more. But I don't talk about anything else until once I hear what you're going through. But from now to the end of the year, there's a lot of men that are dealing with situations, and their bravado or their fake ego is letting them think that they don't need to work things through. And then before you know it, they're in another relationship taking it out on some innocent woman because he didn't work through his issues. Men need to work through their issues by getting help with people who can help them. And I'm here to help.
Thank you so much. Guys, he said it all. Reach out to him. I will tag him. I will put it on my post as well. Thank you so much for your time and
No
helping me
problem.
educate people on my side of the world. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.